Hello there, my name is Timothy Etter, and today I'll be talking about how to think of ideas for writing an essay based on only a short prompt. This screencast is primarily meant for students who will be taking the WorkKeys essay, but the information and tips given in this video can be used for any assignment that involves a prompt. Now, before we begin the actual brainstorming process, I'd like to do a quick brainstorming activity to start thinking of how brainstorming works its way into writing. Take a few seconds and think of, say, your favorite teacher. Now, start listing things about them. What do you like about them? What don't you like about them? Is their class hard or easy? Go ahead and pause this video and take about a minute to start coming up with traits about your favorite teacher. Write these down because you'll want to remember them later. Alright, now that you've come up with some ideas relating to your favorite teacher, let's get a bit more on track. Now we're going to take the process of coming up with those traits about your teacher, or brainstorming, and connect it to coming up with assertions for a writing prompt. Imagine that your school changed their lunches to accommodate to healthier eaters. While the quality of the food has increased, several items such as cookies and pizza have been taken off the menu. Go through the same process you went through when thinking of qualities of your favorite teacher, except this time related to the new school lunch. What do you like about the change? What don't you like about the change? Even if you strongly oppose or support this decision, try to come up with reasons for both sides of this argument. You may already know these as counterclaims, but we'll get into that more later. Pause the video again and take another minute to develop reasons to strengthen your side of this argument. Alright, now I'll give you some examples of reasons I came up with. If you like the change, think of how this change encourages healthier eating. But also remember your friend who just realized he couldn't find his favorite midday snack in the lunch line. If you don't like the change, you could think of how removing unhealthy items doesn't magically cause people to eat healthier. But don't forget that the school has a reputation to uphold, and not encouraging healthy eating could get them in serious trouble. In general, try and consider both the pros and the cons of something while brainstorming, regardless of how one-sided your opinion on that thing may be. Okay, now we'll get to an actual prompt. For WorkKeys specifically, you'll need 3 assertions or 2 assertions and a counterclaim. I'd advise going with the counterclaim. In general though, it's best to have a good amount of ideas for both sides of a given argument. A solid essay understands both sides, even if it ultimately chooses one over the other. Let's take practice prompt number 4 and brainstorm right now. The prompt is, you work as a supervisor of salespeople at a large department store. Sales have recently decreased, and you have learned that the director of sales is considering a layoff of several sales representatives. Write a memorandum to the director giving your opinion whether or not the layoff would be a good idea. Let's clarify what this prompt means so that you don't misunderstand what your readers will be looking for. First of all, if you don't understand any of the words used in this prompt, go ahead and ask your teacher. There are confusing terms used in these prompts, and you want to make sure you know what the prompt is asking for. Essentially, your boss is planning to get rid of several of your coworkers in order to make up for the lost money in sales. Now, this prompt could go in 2 directions. You might like this decision because it doesn't cost the store as much money. On the other hand, you might not like the decision because your hard-working coworkers would lose their job based on something that they couldn't control. Regardless of where you stand, think of assertions for both sides of the argument. Once you have at least 2 assertions for each side, pick one stance and base your essay around that. Then, take an idea from the side you didn't pick and make that your counterclaim. If you went through and did this brainstorming process with the beginning examples of this video, it should be a bit easier to come up with assertions for both sides and then definitively choose one. If you're having trouble with this, You can try to come up with 3 reasons supporting your stance, but I found it easier just to stick with 2, as the prompts are made so that both sides of the argument have good reasoning behind them. Pause this video one more time and take 2 minutes this time to develop your assertions. This may not sound like a lot, but you won't have extra time to brainstorm when writing the actual essay, and you want to spend most of your time actually writing. I hope you found this screencast helpful in thinking of ideas for an essay. There is another EWC screencast that will go over how to structure your paragraphs. However, this screencast will be specific to the WorkKeys essay. The link to this screencast will be in the description of this video. Thank you and have a wonderful day.